We're back with more Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. CelJaded playing week 1 of April 2006. This is the go-home episode of SmackDown before WrestleMania 22, the very final chance to build stories in anticipation of that supercard. And we are starting with the challenger to the World Heavyweight Championship, Randy Orton, who arrives at SmackDown looking for Bob Orton Jr., his father and manager, of course. So Randy Orton playing the detective here as SmackDown comes on the air and launching an investigation to find the old man. Where could he have gotten to? Well, we're going to have to wait to find out because Bobby Lashley is here next and he is being asked about his situation with Mark Henry, to which Lashley only responds, "Get out of my way," because he is heading to the ring. He has got a match next against Johnny Nitro and he is not waiting around. Bobby Lashley looks like a man possessed here. He was attacked, sucker punched if you like, by Mark Henry on the last time we saw him on SmackDown. And Bobby Lashley here is a house of fire as he tears towards the ring for this singles match against Johnny Nitro. And as you could probably imagine, that does not go well for Johnny because here's Bobby and he runs through Johnny Nitro in short order here. He's angry, he's pissed off, and you can bet that when he catches up with Mark Henry, he will definitely have something to say to the world's strongest man. But for now, it is Aja Kong cornering Melina as she arrives backstage. So Melina, the manager of Johnny Nitro, of course, kind of leading him backstage after that steamroller effort there from Bobby Lashley. And as Melina comes backstage, she is unaware here that Aja Kong is waiting for her. So as Aja Kong approaches Melina, demanding payment or tribute or something that Melina has still failed to give to her, Melina kind of backed into a corner here, offers up the nearby Stacy Keibler as a sacrifice. So Melina kind of pointing at Stacy, saying it's her fault. She's the one that you should be angry at. Take her, not me. And Stacy Keibler here all of a sudden turns around to find the massive heel, Aja Kong, who of course doesn't need any prompting to take advantage of a vulnerable person backstage. And Aja Kong approaching Stacy Keibler here like a big lion looking at a pork chop. And Stacy Keibler, things do not look good for her in this segment. And that's when Stacy screams for help and Akira makes the save. Did you ever think this was possible? Well, of course you probably did, but nonetheless, it is Aja Kong now staring down Akira while Melina hides behind her monster heel bodyguard here. So Melina, although she owes some sort of payment or, as we said, tribute to Aja Kong now has found a fellow lioness in Akira Hokuto, who is more than happy to stand up to Aja Kong. These two women, of course, no doubt have a lot of history in Japan, where they probably wrestled multiple times. And this is the scene here, Aja Kong staring down with Akira Hokuto to huge heat. And more to come from this one, would you believe it, when we pick it up later in the episode. But for now, we are with William Regal, who approaches Mark Henry with a little arrangement concerning The Undertaker. So we know William Regal will be facing The Undertaker in a match at WrestleMania 22. William Regal, desperate in his quest to earn respect of this locker room, thinks that by defeating The Undertaker and ending the streak, he will get that respect that he so desperately craves. But for now, it is actually Mark Henry who will be facing The Undertaker in tonight's main event on SmackDown. So William Regal here, sensing an opportunity that the two men can help each other, has approached Mark Henry, as we said, with a little business arrangement. So Mark Henry is all ears here as William Regal kind of shares what's on his mind. So intriguing stuff there. And more intriguing stuff here with The Miz, would you believe it, begging Shane McMahon for a Cruiserweight title match. Now, why is that? Why would the Cruiserweight champion be begging for a match, begging for an opportunity to defend his belt, especially when that someone is The Miz? Well, Shane McMahon, as one heel to another, is more than happy to do Miz the favour here, and he hands Jamie Noble the opportunity to step in the ring and wrestle for the Cruiserweight Championship. So Jamie Noble, of course, has been doing pretty well in recent times, but nonetheless, The Miz seeking out a sympathetic challenger here in a rare heel versus heel match. I think it's the one of the first ones that we've done, barring a few storyline exceptions, of course. But yes, why is The Miz seeking out a challenger for his cruiserweight title all of a sudden? Well, if we read between the lines, one could speculate that perhaps The Miz is trying deliberately to lose his title, to offload it onto someone else so that he doesn't have to face the vengeful Matt Hardy at WrestleMania. And we know Matt Hardy is gunning for The Miz. The Miz knows it. Miz has been concerned recently now that Matt Hardy has made cruiserweight and will be challenging him at WrestleMania if he still has that belt. So perhaps Miz here is looking for an easy way out. Maybe he can lay down for Jamie Noble and have themselves a nice easy match and get away scot-free. But we'll just have to see what happens in the match itself, because it is coming up next. Alright, so there it is. Poor match, unfortunately, but it was more of a storytelling affair. And it is actually The Miz getting the win here over Jamie Noble, because Noble gets disqualified by Super Crazy running in and attacking The Miz. So what is it? Super Crazy tripping up The Miz here all of a sudden. Quite strange activity for the Mexicals, wouldn't you say? Because there's normally Cash and Noble they've got the problem with, and it's usually those two men that they're busy attacking. But in this occasion, Super Crazy attacks The Miz. So what exactly is going on here? Well, as we move on to the next segment, we see Super Crazy chase off Jamie Noble. Of course, the Mexicals don't need any extra encouragement to attack one of Shane's allies. But as Super Crazy kind of runs to the back, he tags in Matt Hardy, so to speak. And Matt Hardy very grateful for the assist here from his buddy Crazy. So yeah, it becomes clear. Super Crazy deliberately gave Miz the win, if you like, by DQ to make sure that he kept that cruiserweight title around his waist. And the Miz, for his part, looking very concerned now, because Matt Hardy approaches the ring where he faces Trinity and The Miz. Trinity, of course, The Miz's manager, who is in the background of this scene. And Matt Hardy has something that he wants to get off his chest. So with a microphone in hand, Matt Hardy invites Trinity into the ring here. There's going to be no physicality, but he is saying that, last time he was here, and Trinity started her mind games about and started her usual manipulation on Matt Hardy. He overreacted. He bought into it, and he let himself be sucked into Trinity's mania, as has happened so many times in the past between those two. And now that her and The Miz have lit this fire, both figuratively and literally, we might say, they're going to watch that fire burn. All three of them will burn together at WrestleMania. So Matt Hardy, even though he's not getting physical here, he has cut down to a cruiserweight. He looks pretty damn good in this scene, and he will be challenging The Miz at WrestleMania, whether The Miz likes it or not, where he will finally get his revenge, hopefully, on the two of these individuals that have made his life a living hell for quite a long time now. So there you have it. The Miz and Matt Hardy will be meeting at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweight Championship, and Trinity, of course, still by The Miz's side. I wonder whose life will be ruined after that match at WrestleMania. We're just going to have to wait to find out. But for now, we are with Shane McMahon, who's still in his office after dealing with The Miz. And Shane here appears to be hiding a gimmicked contract in his office. That's interesting stuff, isn't it? But after Shane leaves, the Mexicals steal in and start altering the contract. So the Mexicals, oh dear, a little bit of a larceny here. But they are breaking into Shane McMahon's office, whereupon Shelley's got her pen and starts crossing out paragraphs, adding a few of her own, and just all that really kind of over-the-top silly stuff. I doubt a contract would really hold up in law if you had scribbled on it with a biro, but nonetheless, it is the wacky world of wrestling. It gets the point across. The Mexicals are willing to do anything to get Shane McMahon to play ball, to play fair, even so much as to break into his office to make sure that he stands by his words. So this is the situation. Shane's contract may be just a little bit more gimmicked than he imagined. So we'll just have to see exactly what happens when someone finally gets around to signing that thing. But nonetheless, we are back now with Stacy Keibler, very thankful that Akira Hokuto rescued rescued her earlier. And Stacy Keibler making the point here that, look, she'll need to defeat Aja Kong if she wants to reach Melina. Stacy knows, of course, that Akira has had her problems with Melina in recent months. And let's not forget, it was Melina that defeated her at the Royal Rumble with Aja Kong's help. And although Akira got a measure of revenge at No Way Out, Melina sort of escaped justice at that pay-per-view, didn't she? We're kind of all aware of that. And now Akira has a second chance, perhaps, with Stacy at her side. She can make that match happen. So Akira interested on what they're going to do about Melina and Aja Kong here, because Stacy is a manager, she can't wrestle, and that's when Gail Kim pledges her help. So if there's a tag team match, Gail Kim wants to be a part of it. So Gail Kim, of course, had a very nice match with Melina last time we saw her on SmackDown, but it was a losing effort, and Gail Kim wants another chance to show what she can do in the ring and prove that she can beat Melina. So if Stacy Keibler can make this happen, it will be Melina and Aja Kong versus Akira and Gail Kim, hopefully to settle this Aja Kong situation once and for all. And speaking of Aja Kong, here she is, because Melina now, just a little bit later after that segment, realizes that they are going to have to team up here to get rid of Akira for good. So Melina says to Aja Kong, look, Aja Kong will get everything she asked for and more if she takes out Akira in this upcoming match. So Melina making the point now that, she owes Aja Kong, but do me this one last favor. Help me win this match against Akira and Gail Kim, and I will make sure that you are paid, and as we said, get everything that was promised. So Melina wants Aja Kong to team up with her one last time, one last rodeo for Aja Kong here, finally teaming up with Melina to face Akira and, as we said, Gail Kim in this instance. So let's get to the match, shall we? Okay, and not a bad match at that. 65? Is that the best women's match we've had on this save? I'm struggling to remember now if we've got one higher than that, but nonetheless, a very impressive rating here, and each woman definitely holding her own in this ring. But wow, look at Akira here with a performance of 69. Wow, that's incredible. Really, really great stuff. And no doubt, yes, plenty of bonuses on Akira's side, plenty of bonuses on everyone's side by the looks of it. And really, really good stuff here from these ladies. And it is Akira Hokuto and Gail Kim getting the win here, defeating Aja Kong. And it is Akira with the Northern Lights bomb getting the pin on Aja Kong and settling that beef for good. Akira was the better woman on this occasion. But of course, as we know, it is Melina escaping justice once again, because Melina flees the scene here as Stacy celebrates, but Akira stares down Melina from the ring. So as Gail Kim and Stacy Keibler there kind of celebrate a huge win, Akira still has her eyes on Melina as that woman has gotten away yet again. So can Akira finally put this issue to rest? We just have to wait and see on that one. But good stuff from all of these women, and some good segment ratings as well for a storyline that kind of only started just recently. But it would appear here that with Stacy Keibler at her side, Akira is already making waves once again. So who knows, maybe this partnership will be a good one. And I'm not sure if you noticed, by the way, in that previous segment, that just by happenstance and just by magic, when Stacy is assigned as Akira's manager, you get a very positive chemistry notice. I'll be sure to highlight that the next time that Akira's in the ring. But it just so happens that Stacy and Akira work really well together. Who would have thought? So really, really good stuff there. And now we are back with Randy Orton, still looking for his father, Bob Orton Jr., and he is asking Eminem if they have seen the man, to which Melina, now kind of a little bit battered and bruised and kind of exhausted after that previous match, and especially when it comes to Randy Orton, we know that Eminem definitely have reason to to disfavour Randy Orton, let's say, after Randy Orton kind of left them hanging on a previous episode of SmackDown. They may be heels, but they're not stupid. So Melina here, feeling very sarky and very unhelpful, just says to Randy Orton, you know what, I think that's a dead issue. So Randy Orton actually looking a bit concerned here, because it sounds like Melina knows a little bit more than she's letting on, as some some dire fate befallen the senior Orton? Or, well, the junior, should we say? We'll just have to wait and see. But Randy Orton now is starting to get a little bit concerned that, something might have happened to his father. So we'll just have to wait until he can track the man down. But until then, here is another man. It is JBL, who's saying that the US title is as good as his after he beats Tajiri next week. Next, should I say. That was what he said last week. So Tajiri and JBL will be wrestling each other next in the next segment, in the next match. And this will determine who goes to WrestleMania to face Rey Mysterio for that vacant US Championship. So it will either be JBL versus Rey Mysterio for the title or Tajiri versus Rey Mysterio. And either way, we're probably looking at two pretty good matches there, but it is time to settle the score. So JBL versus Tajiri, it's coming up next. Okay, and a pretty decent match at that, 66, very, very good. It is John Bradshaw Layfield, I'm afraid, getting the win over Tajiri with the clothesline, a little bit of a help, an assist there from Jillian, but nonetheless, JBL is your winner. And an equally good performance from both men here. I gotta say, Tajiri was a pretty good pickup for this roster. Definitely when it comes to in-ring performance, this guy is no slouch. So I'm glad that we brought back Tajiri. Because this is a really good match to kind of bolster our mid-card with. And yeah, quite impressed with the rating for this one. But afterwards, we've got more because JBL actually decks Tajiri after the match, which prompts Rey Mysterio to make the save. Heroic babyface that he is, of course. But then, out of the blue, here comes Paul Burchill to sneak attack Rey Mysterio. Now, we know that Paul Burchill and Rey Mysterio, there's no love lost between those two individuals. But what exactly is the situation here? Well, as we move to the next segment, it is JBL telling Rey Mysterio, kind of informing him, well, look, just meet my new private security, Paul Burchill. Yes, has thrown in with JBL. These two men seems to have formed an alliance. Paul Burchill running private security for John Bradshaw Layfield. How do you like that? And JBL making the point now that with Burchill at his side, the numbers are not on Rey Mysterio's side. So at WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio, you're finished, says JBL. He is going to be the US champion and not the fan favorite Ray. So how do you like that? JBL has just gotten himself a new ally in Paul Burchill. It was about time that we freshened up Paul Burchill's gimmick and really gave him a kick up the arse because he has not been performing as well as he should have in a lot of these segments. I think a lot of that just might be due to his lagging popularity. So it's a bit of a tough hole to climb out of, but we're going to try this with a fresh direction and see what we can do with Paul because he is a talented guy. And yes, I'm sure we can find a spot for him somewhere in this mid-card until he manages to get out of this slump. So good stuff here from all men involved. A very promising new start, as we said, for Burchill. And it will be JBL versus Rey Mysterio for the vacant United States Championship at WrestleMania 22. So look forward to that one. And now we are back with Randy Orton once again, and Randy hears that his father, Bob Orton Jr., was spotted with someone elsewhere in the arena. So this is an interesting development, isn't it? Was he meeting someone? Was it some sort of clandestine rendezvous? Or perhaps something far more sinister? Randy Orton continues to investigate here on SmackDown to locate the old man. He's going to have to wait a bit longer, though, because we are now back with Shane McMahon, who finally has invited the Mexicals out to sign the contract that they requested for WrestleMania. And after the Mexicals attend the signing here and put their names down on the line that is dotted, Shane McMahon starts to gloat because he is about to reveal what the Mexicals have just signed up for. They maybe should have read the small print, says Shane McMahon, because who knows what kind of match this was going to be. Was it going to be a lumberjack match with heels around the ring? Was it going to be another gauntlet match, another handicap match, or something that would really inhibit the Mexicals' chance to rebel and fight back? Well, we'll never know because as we move on, it is Shelly Martinez now revealing that the contract has been changed. And yes, it does say Shane McMahon on that contract. The name does indeed say Shane McMahon. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But it says Shane McMahon. will be in a 6-man street fight match at WrestleMania when he teams with Kid Cash and Jamie Noble to face the Mexicals Juventud Guerrera, Psicosis, and Super Crazy with Shelley at their side. Nobody else at ringside, but then again, no rules either. Shane McMahon is going to answer for everything he has done to the Mexicals, and he will answer at WrestleMania when he is being forced now, after signing this contract, to step into the ring. So Kid Cash, Jamie Noble beside themselves. Shane McMahon can't believe what he's just done. He's just been duped by the baby faces, but this is the situation. Shane McMahon will be in the ring at WrestleMania alongside his allies Cash and Noble, where he finally will have to pay the piper and wrestle the Mexicals in a fair fight. Although, saying fair, it will be a street fight, so anything goes. So definitely looking forward to this one now. It is high time that we blew this story off with a bang, and let's hope it's a good match into the bargain. So good stuff from all involved. And now we return to Mark Henry. So he is just moments away now from facing The Undertaker in tonight's main event on SmackDown. And Mark Henry says that battering The Undertaker will cement Bobby Lashley's demise at WrestleMania. So interesting here that Mark Henry still has his mind on Bobby Lashley. Despite stepping into the ring with The Undertaker, with the dead man himself, Mark Henry is still obsessed with Bobby Lashley. Still obsessed with proving that he is stronger than that man. And Mark Henry's going to have to really focus here and get his mind straight if he hopes of beating The Undertaker, because this is going to be a huge match for him, and it's coming up right now. Alright, so a rating of 68, not too bad. We've got fantastic heat and good wrestling for this one. It is The Undertaker defeating Mark Henry, unfortunately by disqualification, because William Regal runs in and attacks The Undertaker. So we can only imagine that Mark Henry here being set up for a choke slam or something similar, and that's when William Regal has to intervene to save Mark Henry. But the situation here, of course, it develops after the match, where William Regal sneak attacks The Undertaker after the bell as well, and Mark Henry now joining in the beatdown. So remember, Mark Henry said all he wanted to do was batter The Undertaker. He didn't say he wanted to beat him or win the match, and so from his perspective, this is mission accomplished. So Mark Henry and William Regal now doing a number on The Undertaker as he's fighting a losing battle of 2-on-1, with one of those men, of course, being the world's strongest man. So this is looking very bleak for the dead man, when, of course, Bobby Lashley runs in to make the save, as we knew he would do, forcing William Regal and Henry to flee the scene. So there it is. The Undertaker, Mark Henry, William Regal, Bobby Lashley sharing a ring, however briefly, and each man has a huge match at WrestleMania, and this is the situation. The Undertaker staring down William Regal, who we will be meeting to decide the future of the streak, and Mark Henry staring down Bobby Lashley, who he will be meeting to decide who the strongest man in WWE is once and for all. So there it is. Lots of hot programs there, and when we see them next time, it will be at WrestleMania 22. But we're not quite done, folks, and storming in with a nice blue 88 rating, it is the World Heavyweight Champion Batista, conspicuous by his absence so far. Here he is, clutching Bob Orton Jr. by the throat, and Batista is threatening violence if Randy Orton doesn't get out here right now. So Batista, he's got Bob Orton Jr. here begging for his life. Batista is making the point very clear that something very, very bad is about to happen to Randy Orton's father if Orton, the younger Orton that is, doesn't get his ass out here right now to answer for what he did to Dave Batista last week when he attacked him outside the arena, of course. So Randy Orton now making his way to the ring, and Randy Orton looking very frantic, trying to talk Batista down. He doesn't want his old man to get hurt by Batista. So Batista kind of orders Randy Orton into the ring here, as Batista's pretty much got Bob Orton set up for Lord knows what, whether it's a choke slam or a powerbomb. It's not looking good for Bob Orton Jr. So Batista here with Bob Orton Jr. is Mercy, and Randy Orton kind of the Viper himself defanged a little bit here, having to play nice. Batista says he's done playing games. So how do you like that? Batista, he's had enough of all the illusions. He's had enough of the passive-aggressive comments on commentary, backstage, in interviews. He's had enough of the beatdowns and all the interference and all this shade and all this posturing. It is time that Batista and Randy Orton settled this like men. And then, what does he do with the old man Orton in his grasp? Well, he does absolutely nothing except discard him. Like a piece of garbage, he drops Orton to the ground. Bob Orton flees for his life there, leaving Batista and Randy Orton alone and face to face. And that's when Batista offers his hand to Randy Orton. And Randy Orton here, grasping Batista's hand, forced to shake it. And Batista simply says, "May the best man win." That's it, folks. It's an 88 segment rating. Batista is done with the mind games. He's done with the physicality. He has now got his sights firmly set on WrestleMania 22, where he will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Royal Rumble winner Randy Orton to finally put this issue to rest once and for all. And a really good segment to finish the show, which leads us to a nice 78 final rating. So good stuff here from SmackDown. Dave Batista especially putting in some great work there in the final few segments to really heat this one up as we head into the Supercard. And that is it. That is all the episodes that we could manage on the road to WrestleMania. So the very next video after this one for Sunday, week 1 of April 2006, will be WrestleMania 22. It'll probably be a feature-long episode, much like the Royal Rumble was. I've got some plans and need a lot of time to put this one together, perfect it, and make it as good as I can for you all to enjoy. So do look forward to it. I can't promise that it will be posted at the same time the videos normally are, but I will try my very best to make sure that you've got that ready to watch as soon as it's ready. So look forward to it, folks. WrestleMania 22, it is coming. That is CelJaded for TEW 2020 on the Shifting Sands mod. When we come back, it's WrestleMania. And like I said, I look forward to seeing you there. Take care until then.